I want to be the best of the best. And not just by our worldly standards, but by God's standards. Sometimes when I'm in a group, I wonder, if someone wanted to seek out a relationship, would I be someone that they would seek out? Am I the best of the best that they could find, that would have a heart of God and that would have the desire to just live completely sold out for Christ, that it would encourage them to live their life like that? I wonder if sometimes people go, oh, David is truly a guy I want to be like when I grow up, or David is truly the guy who I would want to be with because he's the best of the best. Boaz in the chapter, he saw that in Ruth. He saw that she was the best of the best, but not by worldly standards. He saw that she was the best of the best by God's standards. And we see that in chapter 2, Boaz had many possessions and many servants, and he had large pieces of land. And as Ruth went to go glean in one of those fields, Boaz was intrigued by her. He had heard of how much of a servant she was to Naomi. And Boaz says, I have to know this woman. I have to go talk to her. Because by God's standards, if he was going to seek out a relationship, she was the best of the best. Back before Jesus had come to earth, when a priest would choose an apprentice, he would examine the life of this young boy, and he would see if he was educated, if he was well equipped, if he produced the qualities of someone who could learn that trade, of someone who could truly devote their life to being the best of the best. And after the priest would look at all of these qualities or lack thereof, if there wasn't enough for him to become that priest, the priest would look at him and say, son, you are not the best of the best. Now go home and learn your family trade. And as Jesus came to earth, he chose 12 men to follow in his ministry, to be in a relationship with him. And as he chose those men, by worldly standards, he did not choose the best of the best. Some of them couldn't read, some of them couldn't write, some of them were so political, some of them were not political at all. They came from fishermen and tax collectors. And it's so interesting. If you were to choose a date, if you were to choose out of a line, we would look for the best of the best. If it was a guy or a girl, we would look for humor or looks, or what kind of styles do they have, what kind of music do they listen to. But if God was to choose someone to be the best of the best, if he looked for a relationship, I believe that he would look for someone who had a heart that was devoted and sold out for him. When Boaz saw Ruth from a distance gleaning in the fields, he was intrigued, and not only by her outer beauty, because we read that that Ruth was a gorgeous woman, but he was also intrigued by her servanthood and her heart. You know, he was fascinated and drawn to her devotion. And I think that is so important for us to understand. You know, as you go into your small groups, talk about what it is to be the best of the best in God's eyes and what that looks like in the world's eyes. And then second, talk about the things that intrigue you, that draw you to someone, and what makes them the best of the best in your life and in those relationships.